Oh, it's recording.
What? Oh, shit. No, we're already up and running.
Yes, indeed.
Now you let me yawn.
Of course. And I'm joined. Hello, everybody. Today I am joined by award-nominated Barry Mitchell. Award-nominated. I'm making you feel weird. I love it.
Chum.
I've been dying for you to come back so I can say that. Why don't you? I'm not lying. First, I'm not lying. You are nominated for an award. Leadership.
What's the award anyway?
Yeah? Leadership excellence. Crazy.
As I say in my favorite word, serious.
Yeah, but I was like, that's what you guys nominated him for. Leadership excellence.
That's pretty
huge. The South Africa, Zim, and UK Expo. I don't know why I forget the UK part.
It's the first award I've got ever since they thought I was going to be a prefect in school. And I let them down.
Hopefully you don't let us down this time. It was crazy to see the reactions to, like, when I posted about it on Facebook, and like people were genuinely excited for you to be nominated.
I was excited because it's I mean it's an award for what I get. It's an award Zimbabwe South Africa Business for a Zimbabwean who's doing work within the diaspora, which is the greater area around Zimbabwe. And so pretty cool. So 24th. Well,
24th of May.
We'll go to the dinner and then I'll be able to tell you a lot more about it. Anyway.
Might pull a Kanye West, even if you don't win it, just go up on stage and say something crazy.
What are we talking about today anyway? Mentorship.
Mentorship, yes.
Mentorship. Yeah.
You were with a mentor this.
I was. It was pretty cool. Robert Kiyosaki was out in Johannesburg talking at the NAC, National Achievers Conference, which is one of Success Resources events. And myself and Nicole and Michaela popped in just to say hello and touch base, and spent a little bit of time with him at the back after he spoke, just connecting and really just touching base. And it's, it just got me thinking, I've been blessed. I've had Robert as a direct mentor over the years, and been able to work with him directly and learn from him directly, which has been unbelievably powerful. But I suppose, like when I came back to you this morning, I said, it poses the question mentor, because I watch people post, and I know they've never worked with him directly, or he's never advised them directly, and they use the word mentor. And I have a different opinion on a mentor. I've read Tony Robbins' books, but I wouldn't call him my mentor. I would call him, I've learned from his books.
Yes.
I've watched him on YouTube, but he's not my mentor, if that makes sense. But it was just interesting. So I thought we'd chat about that. What's a mentor? What's a coach? What's someone that you learn from? Because, I've read a lot of books when it comes to business mindset, money, entrepreneurship, sales. They're not my mentors. Brian Tracy, I've read Brian Tracy's books. He's not a mentor. I've read his books and learned from his books, but he's never mentored me in anything. I've taken information, but I've never been able to go back to him and say, "Hey, Brian, how do you do this?
Yeah.
And what about this?" And he's never, whereas Blair Singer was a direct mentor and has been over the years of mine. Blair taught me how to teach and train, and Blair had me in a room and he kicked my ass, and we've done events together, and he's given me direct feedback. And Robert Kiyosaki, I've worked directly with him and developed some programs for him, and I've been teaching Rich Dad Cash Flow Game for 18 years, and I've been on stages with him, speaking with him in South Africa, and having direct feedback both on the stage, off the stage, on the phone, about what I'm doing and not doing, and could have done and should have done and didn't do. And for me, that's mentorship. It's like you reading my book, Never Meeting Me, and saying Barry mentors me. I don't really. You read my book. Whereas you work directly with me. I do mentor you.
Yeah, you've been mentoring me for like 13 years.
You know, so yeah. So that was the sort of thing, is who are the mentors in your life? Who are the coaches in your life? And who are some people that you're learning from because you like what they write or their videos or their training programs, but they're not a mentor or a coach because they don't really know, they know nothing about you, and they know nothing they know nothing about you, your business, where you're at, and they're not actually giving you any advice or any guidance.
How many mentors have you had in your business life?
Quite a few. You know, when I look back, I mean, in my latest book, A Salesman's Journey, I talk about Don McDevitt, the guy that wrote the foreword for me. Don was a direct mentor, gave me he hired me. I went in to work in his small business because he needed a young guy with enthusiasm. And Don was a very real mentor to me, guided me. I would report back to him on a week-to-week basis about what I was doing. He was teaching me sales, and he mentored me in terms of what I did well and what I didn't do well, what was working and what wasn't working. So Don was a direct mentor. The guy that took over, a guy called Rob Bailey. Rob Bailey became a direct mentor of mine in the business in terms of what I was learning in the business. He was a majority shareholder and I was a minor shareholder, but he was a mentor. Blair Singer was my direct mentor. You know, when I decided 18 or 19 years ago that I wanted to learn to teach like Blair, I bought a franchise, started Sales Partners, and was directly mentored and coached by Blair. Robert Kiyosaki has been a direct mentor of mine. Yeah, you know, over the years, managing directors that I've worked for, been mentors. Some of my clients, I have some wonderful clients who I work with, and I help them in their business, but they do stuff that I've never done before, and they assist me, and I can sit down with them and say, this is where I'm stuck. How do I do this? How do I raise capital like this? You guys have done it. How would you do this? And in return, they would give me some coaching and some mentoring in terms of how I move forward. You know, so that's in business. You know, over the years in my spiritual life, I've had ministers and pastors and that have been my spiritual guides and that in terms of where I'm going. So. But for me, a mentor is someone who I sit down with, has a direct knowledge in terms of what I'm doing, and gives me some guidance based on where I'm going. It's not the taking of knowledge and applying it.
Yeah.
You know, that's learning. That's learning. That's not mentorship. You know.
So I didn't think this topic was going to go where it was, and now I'm ready now.
Well, where's it gone?
Now I'm interested. Now I'm feeling like this is... So you brought up something there, and you said you've had spiritual mentors as well. How important is it to have, to sort of have that, like a business mentor, spiritual mentor?
Yeah, well, I mean, I have some mentors, coaches, depending on the role they fulfill. But you know, I have some health mentors and some health coaches. Yeah. You know, my CrossFit coach is my coach.
Yeah,
he knows more about CrossFit than me, and he guides me in terms of what I could and should be doing. There's a guy at the gym, you know, now that I'm embarking on this flipping half Ironman thing, that starting to think maybe it was a dumb idea, but anyway, I'm in.
This happens every time when he comes up with a dumb idea and then does it anyway. So whether or not it was a dumb idea is irrelevant.
Well, I'm in, so I'm doing it. And there's a guy I've become really friendly with in our CrossFit box, and he's done a couple of comrades, and he's done a couple of full Ironmans, and he's mentoring me. You know, when I see him 2 or 3 times a week, he says, so how's this going, and what about that, and have you tried this, and are you sure to do this? And he's giving me some guidance. You know, when I rode in the World Indoor Rowing Championships in 2022, you know, Damien, he was my coach, but he also mentored me. You know, he coached me in terms of getting my stroke right and doing all that sort of stuff. But then he created a mentorship role because I looked up to him and in terms of what he had achieved, and he could guide me in terms of, you know, when you're starting to worry and you're in the last 500 meters and you want to quit because you're so flipping tired and the lactic acid is hitting your muscles, how do you push through? You know, so, and how do you get your mindset going? So yeah, so I think in all our lives, who we hanging out with, Suli, that who are we hanging out with? Not who do we have a photograph taken with?
Yeah.
Or who do we go to a seminar to listen to? Or who are we spending time with in our life who's done stuff in certain areas of our life that we've never done, who will guide us, give us guidance, who will coach us, and who will help us achieve the results that we want to achieve. And for me, that's mentorship and coaching.
And I think it's interesting as well, because I was thinking about the Damien one, right? When you did the World Indoor Rowing Champs.
Yeah.
Damien is significantly younger than you.
Yeah, 30 years younger than me.
But the experience he has rowing supersedes yours.
100%. At
You
that
never-
stage, he was a world record holder, and you know, an SA rower, world record holder.
And at no point did you, and that's the crazy part for me, was like you never looked at it and you went, no, he's too young. I need to go find somebody older than me or somebody who's my age to
No, he's done
mentor
shit.
me.
He had done shit that I've never done before. So I connected with him. We both connected. We both, and when it came to rowing, he was in charge, Joe. He knew what my goal was. He helped me get to my goal. He guided me. He challenged me. He pushed me. You know, and went from there.
And I think that's the interesting thing about you. I think for me, knowing you as long as I've known you and seeing the people that you've been mentored by, namely Robert, and what that was. Everybody sees the end goal, right? Barry on stage.
That's what a lot of people want.
Yeah, that's
They want the photo with Robert and look at me and Robert and look who I know. And, you know, if I post it on Facebook, then everyone's going to think I'm successful.
yeah. In all honesty, I wanted to get as far away from Robert as I could because Robert is a tough person. Like he's not, he's a nice guy, but he's tough.
Yeah.
And you stuck that out. In terms of mentorship coaching, why is it important to stick it out if you're gonna get a mentor? And should you do what you did and go for somebody who's gonna be tough, or should you go for somebody who's thereabouts?
Well, what do you want to achieve in your life? You know, if you're going to go and want to pass the Navy SEALs thing, I don't know. One name comes up in my
One
mind.
name also for me.
David Goggins.
That's it.
If I was young and I wanted to friggin' learn how to get through the Navy SEALs, I'd if I could afford it, I'd want to be mentored and coached by David Goggins. And guess what? That oak's gonna friggin' get you to do shit, and you're gonna want to cry and quit. But he's done it. He's done it like no other man's done it before. So, what level do you want to play at? You know, how easy do you want it to be?
Sorry, off topic quickly, but did you see the video of him training with Israel Adesanya?
Jump.
Yeah, he's fit. Like, he's a world class athlete.
100%.
David Goggins made him look like he was that guy.
He was sucking air, Joe. But now,
And David Goggins was chilled.
but look at Izzy. Izzy's a world champion.
Yeah.
Why would he choose Goggins? Because he wants to play at a higher level.
Yes, because he wants to now get back and he wants to get his title back.
And not just Goggins didn't sit down and give him 27 bullet points on how to. Goggins trained with him. Goggins pushed him. Goggins did the practical stuff, because that's what for me a good mentor does and a good coach does.
Yeah.
Many people can tell you, you know, in a book that I read, this is what you should go do. But it's the deal of this is what I did, and this is where I stuffed up, and these are the mistakes I friggin' made, and this is how I got it to work. Now I'm going to help you get through that. And when the person's pushing through it, you can turn back to them and they're going, just suck it up and do it. Why? Because I know where you're at, and I know you will pull through if you can, because I've been there. Not because because I don't know, because I passed a test with 27 points.
Yeah.
You know, that for me that's what I've always looked for in a mentor and a coach, is someone that's done what I want to do, someone that's pushed through where I want to go to. You know, because then they can connect with the pain. I don't know. Surely the bigger the game you want to play, the tougher the people you need to stick around, and they will push you to play bigger, or you'll get out of there because it's too friggin' tough.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, would you say that what you went through with Robert, that 6-7 year period of him mentoring you and coaching you, has now gotten you to where you are today, for example, and also being able to push through something like COVID?
Yeah, I mean, you know, when I 2016, 17, 18, and 2019, I got to spend a fair bit of time with Robert. You know, I went to Australia, spoke on stage there, got pounded on stage there, Thailand, Mexico City, a number of times in the States, and you know, all the time when he was, I'll call it, when he was giving me feedback, because that's what good mentors do, give you feedback. Sometimes you don't like the feedback coming in the way it's coming, but the feedback's coming.
Yeah.
You got to be asking yourself, what's my lesson? And often, and I've just learned this, often good mentors and coaches won't tell you what the lesson is. You got to figure the friggin' lesson out. You know, when we did this program, and I still have it, when we did Get Real, remember Get Real?
Yep.
Get Real, and Robert was out here. I mean, flipping heck, the first day, that afternoon, you know, that whole program nearly came to an end.
Very good.
And that was the learning I had to get in that room. What did I need to do? How did I need to stand up to it? How did I need to push through? What were the lessons? And so, yeah. What did they do? They made me tougher. So what are the lessons that mentors and coaches are giving you that you can't see the result? I mean, I can remember the one lesson Robert gave me. He goes, you mumble your words. And remember, he made me, he said to me, this is what you need to do. You need to get 6 marbles. And you need to put them in your mouth every day. And you need to speak in the mirror so you can speak more clearly.
Yeah.
And you were with me. I didn't question it, did I?
Yeah.
I went and bought 6 marbles and I put them in my mouth.
Yeah.
And then about 6 months later, I get to the States. We got invited to the Robert Kiyosaki Rich Dad book study. And I'm in the room and Robert says, stand up. And he tells everyone the exercise that he got me to do. And he said, did you do it? And I said, yeah, of course. Yes, I did it. He goes, good. And then he says, I didn't know if it would work or not, but it seemed like a good idea. Because sometimes your mentors have had way more experience than you have. They may not have done it, but their mindset goes, if I get this person to do this, I think it'll work for them.
Yeah.
Because of experience. So I just trusted, go do it. I also went and did it because I didn't want to get into any more shit. But that's the deal, is I respected him enough, and I do respect him enough, that I go do it because I believe that he could see something in me that maybe I couldn't.
Yeah.
Or push me to a place where I couldn't. And that was invaluable. Was it always nice? Definitely not. Did I always look forward to it? Definitely not. But that I knew that if I could push through, the lessons I would get are invaluable.
And I mean, the crazy thing is, it's not like he told you, Barry, if I mentor you, by the end of this, you will have X.
No,
which is what people want.
No, it was. I mean, he gave me an opportunity when I was in the States, saying, "Hey, Barry, you know," he said, "We want to do this program," and he said, "Where's Barry? Barry, stand up. You're going to champion the program." And he hadn't spoken to me before, saying, "Do you want to do it or don't you want to do it?" And this is what I have in mind. In that moment, I had to make a choice: yes or no. What did that mean? And I said, "Yeah, I'd love to champion it." Then I found out what the program was, and then I went down the route of developing a program called Awaken Your Financial Genius, which is a 10 module program, which is based on Robert's teaching, you know. And I trialed that program in South Africa for a whole year, and now we have a program called Awaken Your Financial Genius that I've been teaching, which involves the cash flow. But that came from a mentor seeing something in me saying, you can do this.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I had to do. And I went, okay, I'm going to learn. And through that, I learned. Does that make sense? But by making the commitment. So it wasn't always I'm going to get your permission. Let's be nice.
No, yeah.
And that was powerful, that's how I learned with Blair in a very different way to Robert. But Blair put me through some tough lessons. Opening our franchise when we first did was a tough lesson. But what did I want to do? I wanted to learn from him, to learn to be able to do what he did and some of the things that he needed to do. And so, that for me is a mentor, but it's finding someone or a group of people or some people who have done stuff, who have a vested interest in you, but expect you to go out and do what you need to do.
No, I was just thinking, because we've been together for so long, and I've done one program that I championed, right? That I sold into.
Yeah.
Or we taught it together. But you are like, you want to do the program, go and sell the program.
Yeah.
And at no point in time that I question you about why aren't you helping me sell the program? Why aren't you while you're speaking and that was probably one of the issues that happened with other trainers who wanted to work with you, who wanted to learn from you, but they wanted you to do the work so that they can then be you.
Yeah. So, a lot of time is,
You don't want to be coached or mentored the way that you do it, because one of the main things is put people in a room. That's my mentorship is put people in a room.
So how often do people want to have what somebody else has? So I'll take you. You've had some wonderful success in Facebook.
Yeah.
Okay, so someone comes to you and says, Suli, I want to have the same success as you have in Facebook. And you say, okay, this is how I did it. Now go do that. And then they're like, yeah, but that's not what I want to do. But I want what you have.
Yeah.
And I think that's, there's many ways, as the saying goes, many ways to skin a cat. Not that I've ever skinned a cat and ever would want to skin a cat. I'm still trying to figure that out. But anyway, as Robert, I heard him say a number of times, there's many ways to get to financial heaven. Now, if you want to follow how he does it, well, then follow how he does it, because you can pick there's many financial teachers and trainers.
Yeah.
You can, but then follow what they instruct you to do. Go follow them. Okay. So, and that's the problem I see with lots of people.
Yeah.
Is they want to have what that person has, but they're not actually prepared to submit. I think that's a big thing with a mentor, with a coach. It's someone you are working with who you submit to follow and to do. And because a lot of the times you don't know the things that they're getting you to do and what it'll do for you. And too many people want to know, like the moles. It definitely helped me.
100%.
Made a big change in the way I speak.
And it was so crazy that effect actually, what that did to your confidence.
Yes.
Changed everything, because now you realize you could speak clearer, which means that you were more confident, which means
100%.
you kind of went from somebody who wore a mic, one of those mics, to like, no, I can carry a room by myself without that. And for me, seeing that journey was like, oh shit, that's stupid.
And that came out of 6 marbles that I can recollect. Robert didn't even know it was going to work or not, and I never questioned it. I just did it.
Yeah, you could have went on Google and said, would this work?
And what other ways could do it, and then argue with him that I think it's stupid.
Yeah.
And then guess what? He would have gone, well, stuff you then. I don't need to waste my time.
Yeah.
So I think, go back to it. Taking a photograph with someone saying, this is my mentor, this is my coach, and not being coached by them, they're not your mentor or your coach. They're someone who you've learned from, someone whose books you've read, but they haven't that's my take.
Yeah.
Okay? Many people will have different takes on it, but that's just my take. If I've never met you and you've read my book, you read A Salesman's Journey.
Yeah.
Rather say, I've learned from A Salesman's Journey not Barry's my mentor.
Yeah.
Or Barry's my coach, because I'm not coaching you. I don't know your business. I don't know your life. I don't know where you're going.
Yes.
So I haven't mentored you anything. I've written a book.
And if you took lessons from that.
And if you took lessons from the book.
Awesome.
Say, I took lessons from this book and I applied them myself. Great. Why would you want to give me the kudos of being your mentor or your coach when I've never mentored or coached you?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Because in my take is the reasons people do that is so that on social media, we can look like this is who I know.
Yep.
That's my take. So it's this, I don't know, what's it? Marketing by association.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if I'm associated to someone, and most people will never question it,
No,
because oh, look who they know.
Yeah.
And then we create this. So that's just, that for me is not real. And one of my values is being real. So anyway.
Something I wanted to ask you also around mentorship, right? And it's around sort of integrity and mentorship.
Yeah.
So there's a post that I put out, and like 2 people came back and said, just love what you said. Could you please mentor us? It's individually. So I know that it's not the space that you're in right now in terms of sitting down one-on-one with people. Yeah. So the natural thing is come to Ignite Your Sales and then see if you, because what you see on social media, the clip that I create and what you're going to experience in a room, they're similar, but they're 2 different things.
Yes, I'll talk the same way.
Yeah.
But a room is a different opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, it also comes from, you know, do you want me to mentor you or teach you?
Yes.
If you come to my seminar, I'm going to teach you. And yes, I will give you some advice. No, I don't even dispense advice. That's the interesting thing is that's what I also learned that from years from Robert is he doesn't give advice either. What he does is he goes, this is what I do. This is how I do it. This is what I've learned. This is what I observe with other people. Now you make your choice. So, but people want advice. So I'm not going to tell you anything. I'm going to teach you the way I do it. And then, you know, so like if you want to build your business and you're a small to medium sized business owner, then you could become part of our Get Real mastermind. And that's where you meet one day a month. One day a month, and we sit around the table, and even there, and that's when I mentor and coach. Yeah. You know, but I'm not going to tell you what to do. I just spend the whole session asking a lot of questions, and you tell yourself what to do. So I go back to what you were saying. So you're saying, so people reached out saying they want a mentorship.
Yes.
Well, come and get in our world first.
Yeah. So that's naturally what I did.
Yeah.
But then some other guy came, and he was like, contact these people here.
Yeah.
Another company. So I was like, okay, so you came onto our post to basically farm people.
Well, that's just I mean, my take on that.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be friggin' interested if you are that friggin' desperate that you got to farm somebody else's posts to try to get business. Well, why would anyone in their right mind want to go to you?
That was my question.
And that's like that's like me going onto Robin Banks's thing and saying, "Don't go to Robin, come to us."
Yeah.
Goodness me, how friggin' desperate must you be, man?
And I asked,
and in all good conscience, someone is actually going to come to that person and say, "Oh, I'll go to them."
So that was the question I then asked them, and I never got any feedback. I was like, "Do you think that it is that what you are doing is with integrity and something that you should be teaching other people how to do?" Because in our world, what you just did is off. Because at the end of the day, you cannot come onto our platform where people are seeking help.
Well, you can.
You can, because you did. But it's...
We won't go onto anyone else's platform.
We wouldn't.
That's not how we play the game.
No.
But if you want to do that, do that. And guess what? They will attract people that are prepared to do that. And that's okay. Yeah. But guess what? Those people... they won't fit into our world.
No.
Because that's not how we play the game.
No.
It's the last thing we're ever going to do is go onto somebody else's feed.
Yeah.
When I go onto somebody else's feed, I want to add value. I want to say, hey, I agree with this or disagree with this, or have you thought about this, or this is a good point. It's like me going onto Billy Siliconi's feed and saying, Billy teaches speaking, but if you want to learn about speaking, then come to Uncovering Greatness. Why would I flip and want to do that? I'd rather go into Billy's feed and say, hey, Billy, wonderful. I totally agree with you, and support Billy's feed. If in my what's the word? In my authentic response, my authentic response, because that's what I believe. In my authentic response, someone goes, hey, who's this guy? And they reach out to me. That's a different story. And Billy, being Billy, would go, hey, Barry, thank you so much. But great, and in return, because that creates integrity.
Yeah.
But, it's like coming to someone's event and buying a ticket and then going around the table and saying, oh, guys, by the way, you don't need to buy Barry's program at the end. You can come to me. I mean, would you ever buy from someone like that?
No.
Could you imagine going to, could you imagine going to an event like this weekend to NAC? You go to an NAC event and there's a whole lot of speakers on stage. Now I'm going to sit in that room and go, don't go to that guy, come to me because I've worked with Robert.
Yep.
Goodness me, how friggin' desperate and hard up do you need to be to do that?
Yeah, and you look horrible because it's also like, well, why aren't you speaking here now? You see, now it's off now.
Nicole and I went in there, we sat in, listened to Robert speak, got up, waited for one of the guys that was hosting Robert to come and say, hey, Barry, Robert's in the back, come and say how's it, he'd like to just connect with you guys. We went back there and we walked out. We didn't go sit and go, oh, look what we've done. Does that make sense? Yeah. Because it's not our event.
Yeah.
It's Success Resources event. It's the speakers that are speaking there. But that's what, so if you take the physicality of that, that's the same as what people try to do on Facebook.
Yeah.
Somebody else has done all the work out there, connecting with people, doing all that stuff, creating a response. And then you get people that try and come and jump in and go, oh, don't go there, come here.
Yeah. It's
well, me and my right mind, why would you ever even want to go work with someone like that who's that desperate? What are they going to teach you in your business? What are they going to teach you in your life? Why would you want to buy from people like that?
I mean, I don't, my brain would say to me that you wouldn't want to and you shouldn't want to, because if you are trying to farm somebody else's hard work
crumbs
and bring it towards yourself, you have zero integrity. And like you said, it's right. You'll attract people who are willing to do that.
And that's what someone's going to try to teach you.
Yeah. Basically teach people, go look at other people's stuff and comment there.
That's just friggin' desperate.
It is, because you're not willing to do the work.
I'd rather be broke and have no money than be desperate like that.
Wow, that's crazy.
But that ain't going to happen. So anyway, yeah.
So and this is something I've also started to realize, is that a lot of business owners, I'll even go as far as saying, let's just say from about 40 and up, don't really have mentors or coaches anymore, or don't have coaches that are holding them accountable. Why do you think people have moved away from having coaches and mentors?
I don't think it is people have moved away, Suli. I don't think it's an age thing. How many of your mates have coaches?
One.
How many mates have you? Out of 20 people that you know that are in business. So it's
one. Okay.
So in business and in those type of things, I think people have this idea that they'll make it on their own.
Mm-hmm.
Yet you want to go learn a sport, you get a coach.
Yeah.
What? So why would there be any difference? But the path to success for me is simple. Find someone who's done what you haven't done and what you want to do, and they've done it, and ask them to guide you, and then follow what they do. I think there's a number of reasons. One is people don't expense that. They don't put it down as an expense in their business to have a coach and spend on it. A lot of people think you should do it for free.
Yeah.
It's like people come online and say, can you mentor me? Sure we can. But are you prepared to pay for it? No. For now, do us a favor. No. Look, why would I had, and you don't value it. When people get it for free, they don't value it.
Yeah.
We do certain things, like we do Ignite Your Sales, which is our free 1.5 hour. We do that because it connects you with who we are.
Yeah.
And then it's like, if you like what we do, now you're going to invest because you're going to invest.
Yeah.
And then you get skin in the game. So yeah, I think this whole mentoring, coaching sort of environment is really interesting, because it's who do you want, who do you connect with, are you clear on what you want to achieve, and how are you going to get there? And yeah, especially in your world, the advent, with social media, man, people use this as such a smoke and mirrors flipping.
Oh, then it's not even smoke and mirrors anymore. Now it's just whatever that. I think even the smoke and mirrors are gone. I think people are just blatantly lying now. Yeah, and they're okay with that.
Because it's quite sad, isn't it?
It's incredibly saddening to see how people, and I mean, we see it all the time, and I think we speak about it all the time. People are claiming mentors and claiming coaches, and you're like, the guy is coaching
and claiming millions.
Yeah, you have no
claiming Ferraris.
I mean,
and claiming lifestyles, and the problem is most people don't even go check on that. But but the reality is you gotta live with that if you're claiming that sort of stuff.
There's this thing, and it's so funny. So you put me onto Daryl Eves, the YouTube formula.
Yes,
and he's got a few groups that you need to do where you do different challenges. Blah 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 blah. At no point in time does he sell you anything.
No,
I don't have to buy anything. I can be a part of this community.
He's serving,
learn,
but he's serving
and grow our YouTube. Right? If I put the things into play.
Yeah.
You then have other guys who are like, grow your YouTube in, I don't know, 2 months by joining my program.
Yeah.
And then I go and I look at your YouTube following, and I'm like, but you have less followers than we do.
So, but if you follow Daryl,
yeah,
and you get value,
yes,
are you not going to seek out and buy some of his stuff?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Definitely.
But because there's so much value that you've added to me for free.
100%.
That it's. But I'm not going to also turn around and be like, he's my mentor now.
Well, he's not your mentor.
No.
Unless you sign up to one-on-one coaching with Daryl Eves.
Yeah. Yeah.
You sign up with one-on-one coaching, then he becomes your coach. He's coaching you.
Because he does coach. There are people that he does coach.
100%. Yeah. Always your mentor. You sign up, do his if he has a mastermind program, and you sign up, and you get on a Zoom call every second week, and Daryl knows, hey, Sully, how you doing?
Good and you.
Nice to meet you, buddy.
Yes.
Does that make sense? How are you doing on your target? You're driving Uncovering Greatness's YouTube. That's a mentor and a coach.
Yeah.
But the fact that Sully has read the YouTube formula and goes, Daryl Eves is my coach, and then Daryl Eves comes out here to South Africa, and you go and you buy, I don't know, a Daryl Eves YouTube formula platinum ticket, which gives you a photo op with Daryl Eves, and then you post, say, me and my mentor Daryl Eves. But you and Daryl, if I asked Daryl afterwards, you know who that guy is, Daryl would go, not
guy. I'll take a picture of it.
I think he said his name was Sully or Soli or
something with an S.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And you've now gone, oh, look at me and Daryl Eves. Well, great. If that what floats your boat, then do that. But in my world, that just lacks integrity, pal. That's just, why would you not want to actually post the real thing? You know what? I went on a course with Daryl Eves, and he spoke, and I learned a huge amount of stuff, and I got to meet him afterwards and say thank you.
Yes, because I bought a platinum ticket, and I got the opportunity.
100%.
The reason why I wanted to meet him.
100%. It was amazing to learn from him. This is my mentor, and we're hanging out afterwards.
I'm surprised I haven't seen the Robert pictures from this past weekend, and this is not doing that anymore.
So
I haven't seen it in a while.
And I mean, I posted on my Facebook page just to say, it was so good to catch up with him and spend a bit of time with him, and also because he gave me a photograph of him and Don. that was like
just
so
after
funny.
The shooting, man. That was such a gangster picture. I loved that picture of the two of them. I was like, that conversation, the two of them. That must have been a fascinating conversation.
Interesting. But anyway,
now you can turn around and say Donald Trump's your mentor.
No.
Mentorship through association. I know Robert knows him.
But can you imagine the nonsense people come up with? And it's all to stoke ego and get people to think you're important so that you can do what? And why would you want to do that, Sully?
People know you're not important. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of the Uncovering Greatness podcast. with award nominated Barry Mitchell. It's not fake. We got integrity, people. So for those of you who are interested, we have Ignite Your Sales happening this Wednesday, Corporate Conference Center, 8:30. It is a free event to intro you guys, as Barry mentioned, so you can get to see who we are and what we're about and how Barry teaches. And if you like it, or if you don't, cool. It's free. You just invested an hour and a half of your time. And then on the 8th of June, we have Entrepreneur Hangouts again.
Hey, I'm looking forward to that. I haven't been
the 6th one of the year. We're halfway through, which means that we're going to turn it up a little bit more. $550 gets you in. You can always get it on uncoveringgreatness.com or .co.za. You can purchase the tickets there. $550 gets you in. This is going to be a cracker one. We have reached the halfway stage. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you, Barry, for your time. Welcome back after your 2-week vacation.
Yeah, right.
That's
9 days of training over 11 all by myself.
No, that's another one that, sometimes that happens in teams. If this is a bigger organization, Barry hasn't been here for 2 weeks, people will be like, Barry's out having fun times.
I do have fun times. It's just hard work.
Thank you guys for watching. We will see you guys next week. Peace.